Startup City Boa speaking. How to make a goosey soup. Um, Electricity is bad, and electrical appliances usually go very um, out of order because the goosey seeds are very thick to grind and it's very expensive. So, the best and easiest way to do it is first to soak it just like beans is soaked, and simply use this. But because they are using too much of egusi when they need to cook for too many people, they usually require grinders. But when you are alone by yourself doing things, all you need is this tool. In the old days, they used to use this grinder for wheat that had a hole inside and grated teeth with an outlay, so that way it's easier to just grind it in rotational form. So I'm going to be putting onion and then chili peppers, just a tad bit, perhaps just on the corner. Then I'm going to put fresh tomatoes. Usually what happens is that you have to remove the peel from the tomatoes. What happens is that you need hot water just to dunk it inside. But better, in order not to have issues with the seeds that causes hypertension at an older age, all you simply do is boil it in after removing the seeds. You can plant the seeds afterwards and have more healthier tomatoes is a passionate fruit, but we have to understand the difference between the types of tomatoes that there is. This tomatoes is yellow inside, not that it's not ripe, but it's heavy on the kidneys. Seeds are toxic in nature. What one can do with it is tomato jam. If you have sugar a little bit in your stews or soups, then you can actually use tomatoes. Tomato jam is called chutney in India. Later you can remove the tomatoes itself, but the juice remains in there. Usually people fry up the goosey. Some they just boil it straight. It all depends on the kind of culture that people come from, where they want to make it quicker or slower. Egusi has to cook in a very slow manner, but because people are always in a hurry to make it, because egusi gets sour very quick. I'm putting in the pumpkin leaf. I'm going to use a little bit of salt water, and while I'm cooking it, I'll simply wash the eggs, as many as I want, in water, and just put it in there to boil. So it's not rocket science. Alternatively, for taste, you can squeeze African lemon inside to augment for the egusi. What you can do also is put in sweet potatoes instead of sugar, and you have something like a porridge, egusi porridge. For now, I'm going to do eba with egusi, and I'm going to serve it in a Japanese way. Startup City, Boa speaking. Welcome, Startup City speaking. And I put some hot water into a plastic, and Gary, the yellow one, it's quite starchy. When you're making for one person, it's quite hard for children to make their own eba in a big bowl like the adults do. So using plastic flexible cups helps them to hold it properly. And using a wooden spoon this way, you can use a small spoon alternatively. It has to be mixed well so that the starch comes out and it's gooey, and it lasts longer as against the white gari. If you don't mix eba very well, it spoils, it becomes soggy. So you simply have measuring cups, how much you're going to put in. I'm going to serve it the Japanese style, this way on a glass. Usually they prefer rectangular plates because it's easy to hold and serve at the same time. At this point I'm using a television fixture, so not a problem. In order to get the shapes right, and so that the soups do not fall out, what I'm using is a spoon. I dip it in cold water, and I make the shapes inside. Yeah, so you can simply make the shape. Yeah, Because it's gooey, you're going to have to rub it up with oil so that it doesn't stick that much, because it's hot at this point. If I left it a little bit cold, Africans don't like cold food. But in hot weather, they should actually be having cold food, because the aggression level that Africans are showing is what is overwhelming the market, where concentration is a problem. When you eat cold foods, there's more concentration. I didn't put it in water. When you're learning new things, usually you get nervous and you forget about the processes for getting anything done. At this point, I am going towards the egusi soup that I have been cooking. I put some bay leaves inside. Perhaps this is a little bit too much oil for Europeans, but Africans love their oil, which makes them faster physically. So there are benefits to merging different kinds of cultures, but unfortunately, because things come out as a surprise to people, they usually have a hard time accepting things, and then they live in regret too much, because initially they reject ideas. The reason why we have to be careful with electrical things like these pots is because the power goes low and goes high, so it destabilizes the electrical balance in it, which can shock you. So remembering all this electrical processes and procedures is what makes doing business difficult in Nigeria. Startup City, Boss speaking. Bye for now. Stay tuned for the final presentation.